gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in one strong body. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw ye. One more time. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in one strong body. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to see all of you. Good to see all of you. And welcome to all of you. That's what I meant to say. I've been gone a month and I can't remember my script. That's okay. Well, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spokane, where our mission is to join together to create a nourishing, liberal religious home and to champion justice, diversity, and environmental stewardship in our wider world. Or as we say in short, to create community, find meaning, and work for justice. It clicked. It clicked. I also want to begin, as usual, by welcoming all that you bring with you to this space today, all of your unique beliefs, your background, your lifestyle, your experiences, all that helps make you who you are. And this is, of course, true for those who hear us say this as an important part of our service each Sunday, as well as those who might be joining us for the first time today. We're equally as glad to have you here today. So welcome to one and all. Before we greet one another, I do want to mention a small thing, a very tiny thing that has a lot of people shaken, including the stock market, so we know it must be important. You know what I'm talking about now, right? The coronavirus. I just want to let you know there's some antiseptic soap and stuff around if you feel like that's something you need. And when we move into our closing ritual and we usually hold hands, I leave it totally up to you if you want to hold hands, because I'm a Unitarian minister and I'm not going to at all tell you what you should do with your hands. Okay? However, if you should choose, an alternative might be to lock arms, if you prefer to do that. And I know as Unitarians we're going to respect how you want to make that kind of contact this morning, if at all. So really up to you, but I just wanted to at least address it so you feel comfortable doing what you need to do today, and be sure and respect and be aware of your neighbor's needs this morning as well. Sound good? Okay, now give everybody a big slobbery kiss and a hug. No. Just take your own way to greet one another and make some new friends today. And if you are joining us, try not to be too shy, because we're very glad you're here. All right. One more quick announcement. I see Julie Jose there, and I should have put in a plug for next week's Partner Church Weekend, which is going to include a special Partner Church service on Sunday morning, as usual, but also our Partner Church dinner on Saturday before. You can get tickets in the back for that today and enjoy some extraordinary homemade goulash, Hungarian style. So good stuff and lots of good company. So please check that out during our social hour. For now, we are going to move forward by lighting our chalice, the symbol of our faith. Sorry, Catherine, I had you holding that light for far too long. She's got wax holding her fingers together now. The symbol of our faith, the symbol of our unity and our solidarity, of our openness and our inclusion, of our community and our individual uniqueness. May this small flame be our offering of warmth to those who are cold and alone, and a light to those in darkness. May it be a flame that ignites justice in our world, and a beacon of hope to those in need, and may it reflect at least a spark of truth wherever truth has been lost, and cast a healthy shadow of doubt wherever it's been found.
So, Todd, we hope that you're feeling better, and we welcome you back. So, stress and anxiety are companions in our daily life for most of us. Fear, resistance, limitations are all part of the equation that stimulates the fight, flight, or freeze response in our bodies. Our bodies understand how to protect us in those situations where our survival is threatened, but our bodies rely on our minds to initiate that response. Our bodies believe our minds. When our ego is threatened, when our reputation or status in the eyes of others seems to be at risk, when we anticipate pain, our mind signals to our bodies that we are at risk, that our very survival is at risk. When we take on the problems of the world, believing it is our personal call to master it, we feel stress. Who wouldn't? When we carry the burden for success and become attached to the outcome, believing that our very identity is resting on a win, we feel stress. When we resist the problem because it is bigger than us, requires more resources than we have, or it presents a very real possibility of failure and loss, then we feel stress. Letting go of our attachment to the results by shifting the responsibility for the outcome to the universe, we can turn and face the issue and watch the anxiety disappear. Knowing that what we do is important, but that we are not alone, changes that tension to become the kind of stress that provides excitement, meaning, and growth to our life. When we become a tool of the universe and not a tool of our own mind or ego, we gain the peace that passeth all understanding, and our life becomes meaningful, and we feel blessed.
Well, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of that good stress this morning. We're going to sing a song we've never sung here before. It is in your turquoise hymnal if you care to look there. It's number 1015. And of course, we will have our lyrics on the screen. If you would put up the first slide for the lyrics. You will notice those long lines after words. That's because those are words that are held out either on one note or are used on several notes so that you don't get tricked. And you'll also be able to see that more easily in the hymnal. And I'm going to sing this for you, and we'll just sit on that first slide while I do that. But I'll sing the first verse, and then we will sing the first verse together of this one, so you can hear how it goes. Though days be dark with storms and burdens weigh my heart,
It is time for our story for all ages, and I would invite those who would like to come forward where you can sit on the floor, which I never understand why that's a very positive invitation, but if you want to, it's good for your health. Oh, you. This guy's been listening to my sermon. Sure. Thank you, Alex. So I'm going to give a story, a routine, whatever you want to call it, that I've given here before, and I'm hoping that, like many of my sermons, you will not have remembered it. So, Max just whispered to me, many of your sermons, all of them, right? I'm teasing. But I spoke at the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Salem in Oregon last Sunday, who were just a beautiful group of people, reminded me so much of you. And I thought it would be a nice bridge to share it again, because it's one of my favorite stories, and I've only been able to do it twice now. So I'm hoping that you've forgotten. We'll see. All right, let's see who we have here today to join us. This is an interesting-looking character. So what is your name, my good sir?
I'm the amazing Swindini.
The amazing Swindini. Well, what is it that makes you so amazing, Swindini?
I'm a mind reader and a fortune teller.
A mind reader and a fortune teller. That sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? Hey, is there any chance you could...
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I know what you're thinking. You want me to read your nine?
That's amazing. That's exactly what I was just thinking.
All right, put that blindfold on me.
Okay, we'll put the blindfold on you, which we have right here. I have to get it right this time because some kids from the first service told me they thought he was peeking. Because that's necessary to do if you're going to cheat in this bit. Okay, so all right, we're set. Your blindfold's on. What's your first trick?
I want you to think of someone you wish was still here.
Someone I wish was still here. Okay, I've got it.
All right, now write it down and show it to the audience.
Okay. Don't put pens in your mouth. You might get the coronavirus. Actually, you guys don't have to worry about it. You're just carriers. Okay.
All right, now show it to the audience.
Okay, here we go. Okay, you see that? If you can't see that well from in the back, a neighbor can whisper it to you. Okay, so we're ready.
All right, think about it. Put an image in your nine.
Okay, I've got it.
All right, I see it. It's Barack Obama. I'm just kidding. Everyone misses Barack Obama.
That's true.
No, I see country roads. I see the Rocky Mountains. I see an eagle fly. You're thinking of John Denver.
Whoa, it's amazing. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Okay, try something else.
All right, I want you to think of the number between 1 and 10.
1 in 10, that's odds are you might just have a lucky guess. How about something bigger?
All right, how about 1 in a million?
A number, but that's more like it, okay.
Now write it down and show it to the audience.
Okay. I'm going to write it down, show it to the audience. Okay. We are ready. Now don't tell anybody, okay? You guys Just look at it. Okay. It's a big number. That's a huge number. You're right. Okay, here we go. All right. You got it?
Think about it now. Think about it.
Okay.
632,000. 368.
Wow. Extraordinary. Woo. You really are amazing. All right, I want you to try one more, please. One more.
All right, I'm going to guess your favorite color.
My favorite color. Okay.
Write it down and show it to the audience.
Okay. All right. This was an easy one, right? Okay. It is. Don't say it out loud, though. You assumed it? You're like a mind-reading kid. No? I think you read my mind, too. How many others guessed purple? Wow! A whole congregation of mind readers. It's phenomenal. Okay. All right, so I just told him, didn't I? It's all right. It's all right, the blindfold's on, he can't hear.
I'm sorry, I was meditating.
Okay, good, because I don't want to ruin the trick. All right. Go ahead. Guess what color I was thinking of.
Okay, it's coming to me. Picture it in your head.
I'm picturing it.
All right. Are you picturing it?
I'm picturing it. Go ahead.
All right, it's green.
No, it's not.
No, that's not it. That's not it. I got it. I see it now clearly. It's red.
No, it's not red.
No, that's not it. No, don't tell me. I got it. It's yellow.
No, it's not yellow.
No, that's not it. That's not it. I was just kidding.
Wait a minute now. You've tried three tries and you've gotten them all wrong.
I'm just kidding you. Just look at that note that's in your pocket.
The note in my pocket? What is this? Where did this come from? Whoa! Whoa, look at that. That's amazing. Okay. I'm pretty impressed. Would you like to try to read somebody else's mind?
No.
Well, please, just try one more.
No, I told you, I'm a mind-reading pig. I can only read a 9. Your 9.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, maybe you could try to do some fortune telling for us. Could you tell me my fortune?
Sure. A chance encounter will lead to unexpected success.
Really?
No, I read that on a fortune cookie at the Chinese restaurant.
What?
No, that he can tell the future. Haven't you ever seen Terminator 2? The future is what we make it. There's no destiny but the one you make for yourself.
Oh, okay.
You have to work for the future you want.
Well, you know what? That actually is pretty good advice, even if you aren't really a mind-reading, fortune-telling pig.
Thank you. Now give me the $100 you owe me. I got a gig at the Scientology church in an hour. Those people will believe anything.
Okay, Swindini, the mind-reading pig. Thank you. It was pretty funny, wasn't it? I did okay. Thank you, Swindini, for helping me out.
So we light the second chalice so that as our children and youth go to their chapels, they carry the light of our flame with them. May it illuminate, inspire, and warm them as it does us. So as a grateful congregation, we are generous in heart, mind, and spirit. We offer so much of what we have in time, skills, and financial support to our thriving and growing ministry. To this end, we now gratefully give and receive this morning's offering, which sustains this community and our mission to the larger world.
Doing this without a loop.
There we go. Thank you, Shelley. It's okay. So we are now going to kindle our candles of care for those who are most on our hearts and minds. And I want us to light a candle on behalf of Kylen, Lubrick, who is going to be beginning cancer treatment on Tuesday. Kylen we'll be thinking of you. Yeah. Let's do take a moment of silence on behalf of others, and as always, you're welcome to name them aloud at this time if you'd like. Those named aloud and those embraced in our silence, and all those who are suffering in our world at this hour, we hold in our community with compassion.
So for a brief moment, let us get comfortable. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you'd like. And think about these words. I am not the doer. The universe works through me for an outcome beyond my understanding.
I'm going to read a paragraph from William Irvine's A Guide to the Good Life about Stoic philosophy. Highly recommend this book, A Guide to the Good Life. By undertaking acts of voluntary discomfort, by, for example, choosing to be cold and hungry when we could be warm and well-fed, we harden ourselves against misfortunes that might befall us in the future. If all we know is comfort, we might be traumatized when we are forced to experience pain or discomfort, as we someday almost surely will. In other words, voluntary discomfort can be thought of as a kind of vaccine. By exposing ourselves to a small amount of a weakened virus now, we create in ourselves an immunity that will protect us from debilitating illness in the future. Alternatively, voluntary discomfort can be thought of as an insurance premium, which, if paid, makes us eligible for benefits. Conrad Van Dijk and Aaron Mark. Thank you guys for being here. This is the first time you performed in this church. Yeah. Well, you will come. No? Aaron, you've been here before? Long time ago. I thought you looked familiar, actually, but you introduced yourself to me, so I thought maybe not. But anyway, it's good to have you back, and I hope you both will come back and accompany Todd Milne, who I always love having around on Sundays, but especially when we get to hear your talent, and double appreciation for you for composing that piece. Yeah. Thank you. Many are familiar with Frederick Nietzsche's saying, "What does not destroy me makes me stronger." Right? Even if you didn't realize it's from his 1888 essay, Twilight of the Gods. It's one of 44 maxims meant to help his reader remain cheerful during gloomy times. The entire saying goes, "Out of life's school of war, what does not destroy me makes me stronger." It's similar to what's meant today by the school of hard knocks, referring to the wisdom one gains from difficult experiences. But Nietzsche wasn't referring to hindsight. He meant for us to understand that the challenges before us are worth going through because they can make us better and stronger. Anyone who exercises knows this. Exercise requires us to intentionally strain and exhaust our bodies so that we can benefit from better health. Stressing our bodies makes us stronger. The same is true for our hearts and for our minds. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. This isn't to suggest the injustices and problems others create for us are justified, or the unexpected tragedies of life should be celebrated, only that we don't have to let them weaken us. We can emerge from them better than we were. They don't have to destroy us. If we can endure them, they can make us stronger. Yet just as we must sometimes force ourselves to exercise, even when we're tired or would prefer to do something else, avoiding the discomfort of straining our bodies will eventually lead to atrophy, not to health. Our muscles strengthen our endurance, which improves only after our bodies repair what damage we've caused by overworking them. That's how we get stronger, by damaging our bodies so they can repair. These days we can go to the grocery store and buy bib lettuce and baby spinach because many prefer the sweeter taste of these immature plants to their bitter elders. But the bitterness that comes with age is due to the natural chemicals that thicken and harden their flesh in order to defend themselves, especially from sunburn. This is also what makes them nutritious for us to eat. Immature leaves have little nutritional value compared to the thick skins of bitter chard, collards, and mustard greens. So add a little vinaigrette, some avocado fat, or some fatty nuts, if nuts haven't been banned from your table, to help mitigate the bitterness, but understand that it is the bitterness that is most healthy for you, not the sweetness and innocence of immaturity. Yet, it is our natural tendency to want to avoid bitterness in life. We prefer to make our lives as easy as possible. And were this not so, we would not have any of the wondrous technologies we have today, let alone their ancestral pitchforks and wagons and railroads, all crafted to make our lives easier. As a result, however, very few of us would know how to survive today if we were suddenly alone in the wilderness, as our ancestors lived most of history, with no grocery or convenience stores to stop into when we get hungry, no clothing or shoe stores or roads to travel, or GPS or heat and air conditioning, or hospitals when we're injured, or any of the conveniences that make our lives easier. In this sense, our modern comforts have made us weaker, not stronger. In their book, The Coddling of the American Mind, Craig Lukianoff and Jonathan Haidt say today that we are suffering from an untruth that is the complete opposite of Nietzsche's maxim. They call it the untruth of fragility. What doesn't kill you makes you weaker. They explain this by talking about the growth of the peanut allergy epidemic. In his son's preschool, Haidt says, the most important rule, judging by the time spent discussing it, was no nuts. Because the risk to children with peanut allergies, there was absolute prohibition on bringing anything containing nuts into the building. And this particular preschool played it extra safe by also banning anything produced in a factory processing nuts. So many kinds of dried fruit and other snacks were prohibited too. Given the severity of some allergic reactions, including death, they don't blame the schools for being so cautious, but they also raise concerns about some of its unintended consequences. Despite many schools as well as other places, how many of you have had a bag of nuts on an airplane recently? All right? You got some? Man. What was the airline I'm traveling at? Delta? Okay, Delta's still doing nuts, guys. Oh, it was many years ago. Oh, boy. Where was I? Okay. So these schools and organizations have been banning peanuts and nuts. Nevertheless, peanut allergies have actually tripled between the 1990s, when they were relatively rare, and 2008. Why? Lukianoff and Haidt cite a study explaining peanut allergies were surging precisely because parents and teachers had started protecting children from exposure to peanuts back in the 1990s. This study followed 640 infants who were at high risk of developing peanut allergies. Half of them adhered to the standard advice then of avoiding all peanut products. The other half were exposed to peanut snacks 3 times a week. Among those protected from such exposure, 17% developed peanut allergies compared to only 3% of those who had peanut snacks. The reason, as I'm sure you know, is because those who had been exposed to the potential allergen developed a natural immune response to it. Being exposed to the danger, their bodies learned to cope with it. To back this up, I recently watched a lecture by Carrie Nadeau, who is the director of the Sean Parker Center for Allergy and Asthma at Stanford University. Brilliant, brilliant doctor. Dr. Nadeau confirms that allergies and asthma are on the rise. According to her statistics, 1 of 3 people around the globe have an allergy now, leading to secondary conditions, of course, like sinusitis, pneumonia, and infections. 1 in 5 have asthma because of pollution, genetics to a lesser degree, and mainly because of the way we live today compared to the way our ancestors once lived. I'll say more about that in a minute. And 1 in 10 adults have food allergies now, half of whom who did not have them as children. In the U.S., 1 in 12.5 kids, I feel sorry for that half kid. 1 in 12.5 kids have allergies. Similar to those are similar stats to those in other countries like China and Europe and Australia. 42% of these are food allergies, 6% of which are peanut allergies. Now, Naidu explains this rise is happening for several reasons, including over-sanitizing our environments, right? Not being exposed to as much dirt as we used to be makes for an unhealthy microbiota, including a less diverse population of microorganisms in our gut, which is essential to a healthy immune system. Many cleansers and detergents also cause dry skin and eczema, allowing unwanted allergens to get past our normal skin barrier. Worst of all, now I don't say that lightly. Worst of all, the biggest cause of this, okay, is that the guidelines recommending parents delay the introduction of common foods like milk, eggs, and peanuts into their infants' diets was wrong. This actually causes the immune system to more likely interpret common food microbes as foreign substances that they must attack. To prevent this, immunologists today are recommending a diverse diet begin early and often in an infant's life to help immunize their gut. This alone reduces the risk of developing allergies to common foods by 50 to 80%. The new guidelines call for them to begin eating solid foods as early as 4 months old. It's also good to have pets around, especially dogs. Yeah, because they expose our sanitized household to lots of good, healthy dirt. There's one right back there. Make sure he comes and licks my face before the day's over, okay? I want my microbiome to be as diverse as possible. But if it's too late for prevention, Naidu says the cure for these allergies isn't further sanitizing our environments from every possible threat, right? It's not protectionism, only making them more threatening in the process, but through immunotherapy, which means using pills and patches to actually expose kids to small amounts of the very substances that they are allergic to. In his book, Evolving Ourselves, How Unnatural Selection and Non-Random Mutation Are Shaping Life on Earth, Juan Enrique says, the overall explanation, says the hygiene hypothesis medical subtribe, because we have lots of tribes, we have a hygiene hypothesis subtribe now, is that our immune system, which developed over millennia to cope with eating raw meat off of a dirt floor, has ever less to attack in our overwashed, scrubbed, sanitized, debacterialized environments. So our own defense mechanisms, having ever less to focus on, become ever more sensitive to the smallest perturbations. Unfortunately, our pursuit of comfort and safety for ourselves and others isn't limited to what we eat, but just about everything. We're all looking for life on easy street. But there's an old saying Lukianoff and Haidt remind us of: prepare the child for the road, not the road for the child. It's a lot easier. But these days, we seem to be doing precisely the opposite, they say. We're trying to clear away anything that might upset children, not realizing that in doing so, we're repeating the peanut allergy mistake. If we protect children from various classes of potentially upsetting experiences, we make it far more likely that those children will be unable to cope with such events when they leave our protective umbrella. None of this is new information. It's old wisdom. I know it goes at least as far back as Socrates 2,500 years ago. Training his body to endure hardship in the military, while in the military, enabled him to go without food longer than anyone else and to withstand the bitter cold without wrapping himself in extra blankets or covering his feet with fleece. One of his military commanders later wrote that Socrates walked out in that weather, clad in just such a coat as he was always wont to wear, and he made his way more easily over the ice unshod than the rest of us did in our shoes. The Stoic philosophers, who came shortly after Socrates, admired and tried to emulate him in the same way. One of my favorites, Musonius Rufus, said those who are unwilling to exert themselves are unworthy of good, since we gain every good from toil. In his book about Stoicism, A Guide to the Good Life, William Irvine refers to the Stoic practices of self-denial and discomfort, intentionally entering hardship in order to toughen ourselves up. Musonius takes this step one step further, he says. He thinks that besides living as if bad things had happened to us, we should sometimes cause them to happen. In particular, we should periodically cause ourselves to experience discomfort that we could easily have avoided. We might accomplish this by undressing for cold weather, or going shoeless, or we might periodically allow ourselves to become thirsty or hungry, even though water and food are at hand. And we might sleep on a hard bed even though a soft one is available. For the Stoics, preparing ourselves to endure hardships wasn't merely about having strong bodies or healthy immune systems or to get through difficult times. It was about making ourselves virtuous, making ourselves good people, living our values, doing what we believe is right, even when it means going up against the authorities or the opinions of the status quo, can make life difficult and get us into some trouble. I can attest. But since they considered virtue the greatest good, Stoics needed the confidence to know that they were strong enough to endure whatever necessary to maintain their moral integrity, whether or not doing so was popular or safe. How much more fitting is it that we should stand firm and endure, Musonius said, when we know that we are suffering for some good purpose, either to help our friends or to benefit our city or to defend our spouses and children, or best and most imperative, to become good and just and self-controlled, a state which no one achieves without hardship. 2,000 years after Musonius said these words, today's scientists have begun telling us the same thing. In his new book, Lifespan, Why We Age and Why We Don't Have to, David Sinclair, professor of genetics at Harvard Medical School, perhaps the leading aging expert around today, the guy who discovered resveratrol, who are my red wine drinkers, right? That substance in red wine that got us all chugging it because they told us it's good for us. Yay, we can drink red wine. He writes that a lot of the reasons we age, and some of the things we can do to live more vital lives long into our years, Although he talks a lot about some of the medicines and technologies that are just on the horizon, really just needing approval at this point, he also tells us a few of the things that we can do right now to live longer, healthier lives, right? Because we don't want to live long lives if we're not vital. We want to be vital for years. So what's remarkable is that Harvard's lead geneticist is giving us exactly the same advice as the Stoics were 2 millennia ago. Yeah. His first bit of advice is eat less, right? Go hungry, through intermittent fasting, which means going longer between meals, maybe not eating until afternoon, after you wake up, or periodically without meals altogether, and calorie restriction. In Okinawa, where the greatest number of people living over 100 are, they follow what they call the 80% rule, which is to stop just before you get full. This means that for the Stoics, they consider this the virtue of what they call temperance or moderation, right? Eat in moderation. Eating less also limits, get this, our amino acid intake. Now, we all know that amino acids are supposed to be really good for us, right? And they are. They're vital to our survival. But here's the thing, is occasionally restricting amino acids stresses our bodies. And when that happens, it engages our survival circuit. What that means is the signaling of chemicals to go into action to repair our bodies. And when we overeat, this vital healing process sits idle. In other words, if we're overeating constantly, our repair circuit, our survival circuit, is sitting idle most of our lives. Another rule is lots of exercise to improve blood flow throughout our bodies. When researchers studied the telomeres in the blood cells of thousands of adults with all sorts of different exercise habits, Sinclair says, they saw a striking correlation. Those who exercised more had longer telomeres. Telomeres, of course, are the end of our chromosomes that diminish in length as we age. The longer they remain, the longer and healthier we are. Another thing that we can do, just like Socrates and Musinius and other Stoics did, is to endure the cold. Lowering our core body temperature by taking a cold walk, a cool shower, or lowering the thermostat just a tad. I know you're like, please don't do that at church. I'm not going to be here on Sundays if you lower the temperature. Calorie restriction also naturally lowers our core temperature. Studies show that by lowering the temperatures of mice by just half a degree causes them to live 12 to 20% longer than normal. So if you can shiver just a bit, add years to your life. Regular exposure to the cold increases the amount of brown fat in our bodies, which until recently was believed to exist only in infants. The brown fat is really good fat. It's fat that is good for our mitochondria, which are the driving engines of our cells. Very important for cellular health. In short, as Sinclair puts it, a bit of adversity or cellular stress is good for our epigenome because it stimulates our longevity genes. This is so, he explains, because evolution has again endowed us with this survival circuit that only activates when we're stressed. The survival circuit causes chemicals to flow through our bodies to repair our damaged cells and to recycle or get rid of those senescent or zombie cells that otherwise remain in our bodies even though they no longer have any value and can no longer reproduce, causing lots of inflammation which causes us to age. Isn't it something to see science confirming the wisdom of our forebears? Again, as the Stoic philosopher William Irvine says, voluntary discomfort can be thought of as a kind of vaccine. By exposing ourselves to a small amount of weakened viruses, we create in ourselves an immunity that will protect us from a debilitating illness in the future. Now, the point of all of this isn't that we should go out and immediately take on more stress in our lives. That's a relief, right? Or maybe just a little more. Increments, right? Small peanut pills. It is only to show that avoiding stress and strain and pain at all costs makes our lives worse, not better. Nor does this justify causing others to experience stress, strain, and pain. That's a lousy thing to do. Don't do that. Yet we have a responsibility to take on some stress in our lives in order to make ourselves stronger and healthier in body and mind. Just as immunologists strengthen a weakened immune system by exposing it to potential threats, we can intentionally stress ourselves out by allowing some discomfort through a little hunger, cold, and exercise, making ourselves stronger in the process. In the same way, rather than protecting ourselves, or worse, paternalistically protecting others, some of whom didn't ask for our protection, from ideas that we might find uncomfortable or disagreeable, we should expose ourselves to them and learn that it's possible for us to survive in a world of differing ideas and disagreements without any compulsion to resolve them. Engage our mental survival circuit so that we can simply learn to live in such a world with all those ideas floating around, being expressed in the human body, having no impulse to attack them as a threat. As if we're having an allergic reaction to something that should be no more dangerous than a peanut. Thank you.
I'm just going to take a minute or two to remind you that this coming weekend is our partner church weekend. We're having a wonderful dinner on Saturday, I think it's the 7th, and there are tickets in the back for the dinner, and then we'll have our Sunday service. Our closing hymn is one that really refers more to emotional, psychological stress than it does to physical stress, but I think it is just as well to look at it, and this is actually a favorite hymn of mine. Please stand in body or spirit to sing number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath.
Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask
So adapted from John 14:27. Peace I leave with you, peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. Amen. Blessed be. Salam alaikum. Namaste. And shalom. Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom,
Yeah, isn't it neat?
I'm trying to learn how to play the ukulele.
So it's Lydia, right?
Lydia.